But one day, during a routine check, a prison guard suddenly noticed something strange under his feet, so he slowly poured tap water onto the floor tiles. To his surprise, the water disappeared almost instantly. Sensing something was off, he immediately called his superior. Together, they lifted the floor tiles. A tunnel was revealed beneath. The guards quickly gathered all the inmates. They wanted to force a confession from those involved in digging the tunnel. Fortunately, everyone stuck to the same story, and for the moment, they managed to avoid getting caught. But what the guards didn't know was, that tunnel was meant to be found, because the real escape tunnel was hidden in the bathroom. After weeks of non-stop digging, part of the tunnel began to collapse. To fix this, they had no choice but to dismantle their bed frames, using the wooden slats as supports to hold up the tunnel walls. But escaping wasn't just about breaking out. They also needed a clear path to reach a safe zone. One day, while out in the yard, John had an idea. He tossed his baseball under the fence, and while the guards in the watchtower weren't looking, he casually crossed the line and walked up to the wall. According to John's observations, this spot was a blind zone between two towers. Once it got dark, the guards would never notice. That night, John snuck over to the fence. He cut through the wire and escaped, but just a few days later he turned himself in. Turns out John had gone out to scout the surrounding area. He successfully found a viable escape route. Then John began timing everything, set the date for the escape 3 days later. That night, everyone suited up in ties and jackets, packed their bags, and quietly gathered in the bathroom. Once the timing was right, the thrilling prison break officially began. They used a homemade cart system to slide down the tunnel quickly, but as they opened the exit hatch and looked outside, they realized they were only about 20 meters away from the main camp. The location was way off from where they originally planned. Everyone started to panic upon hearing this. There wasn't enough time to dig a new tunnel, and any delay would definitely lead to discovery by the guards. Luckily, the quick-thinking John came up with a plan. He slipped out of the tunnel while the guards were distracted. Then, after confirming it was safe, he took a rope and headed into the woods. When the guards turned away, he tugged the rope to signal the others. This allowed the prisoners below to escape safely. Even though there were a lot of them, the escape went smoothly without any chaos. But just then, the air raid siren suddenly went off. The entire camp lost power and plunged into darkness. Seizing the perfect opportunity, John stepped up and helped more prisoners make their escape. In just a few minutes, over 100 people had gotten out, but right at that moment, the power came back on. One prisoner tripped while running, and the faint sound drew the attention of a nearby guard. The guard came over with a flashlight to investigate. Luckily, he didn't find anything, but one prisoner, who hadn't received the signal, popped out of the tunnel too soon, and ran straight into a guard standing above. Soon the whole area was surrounded by guards, and the entire escape plan was exposed. The prisoners who had already made it out disguised themselves and quickly boarded trains to other countries. From then on, they lived free and peaceful lives. Although not everyone managed to escape, this remains one of the greatest prison breaks in history. And with that, the film comes to an end.